Hello students, I am Mcq'S. Welcome to another class of CET Sankalp. And in this class, we will be discussing another chapter from your second year biology, and that is the biodiversity and conservation, right? Now, this is a small chapter and mainly tries to emphasize and mainly tries to explain the importance of biodiversity. It is its importance. ಯಾಕೆ ಬಯೋಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಬಹಳ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟು, ಯಾಕೆ ಅದನ್ನು ನಾವು ಕನ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು, why do we need to conserve the biodiversity, and what is biodiversity? Okay, biodiversity in the simplest terms we can tell it as the biological diversity. Okay, yes, diversity of all living organisms. That is what we mean by the term biological diversity. That is what the term actually tells us. Okay, and this term was actually brought by E.O. Wilson, okay, sociobiologist called as the E.O. Wilson. Okay, this was the person, he was the individual who popularized the term called as the biodiversity. Okay, so when it comes to the number of questions and all, you can expect around generally 2 questions in your NEET examinations. Okay, yes, though it's a small chapter, you can expect around 2 questions, and again in your CET at least 1 question you can expect in your CET examinations, right? So let's start our discussion with respect to the questions, and we will try to discuss as many as concepts possible from this particular chapter, right? Yeah. So the first question over here, Western Ghats shows highest diversity of amphibian, beetles, species and mammalian, right? So now the Western Ghats, we all know Western Ghats, where it actually comes in our country. Okay, so the Western Ghats are mainly known for the amphibian diversity. The right answer over here is the A. Okay, so ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದ ಈ ಥರ ಬರುತ್ತಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮದು ಈಗ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, right? This is our country, right? And here comes our Sri Lanka. So this part is actually called as the Western Ghats, and this part is actually called as the Eastern Ghats. It's called as the Eastern Ghats, and this part is called as the Western Ghats, right? So Western Ghats are mainly known for the diversity of the amphibians. Nowhere in our country you will see such a diversity of amphibians, right? So the right answer over here is the A, that is the amphibians. Now the next question, India is known to have a dash number of orchid species, right? So in the beginning of the chapters only they have given that India is known to have around 20,000 orchid species, and interestingly Sikkim is the state that is known for its orchid beauty. Okay, orchids ದು ಅಗ್ದಿ ಹೈಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ನಂಬರ್ ನಮಗೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಡು ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಯಾವ ದೇಶದ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಡು ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಸಿಕ್ಕಿಂನಲ್ಲಿ ಕಂಡು ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಆರ್ಕಿಡ್ ಬ್ಯೂಟಿ ನೀವು ನೋಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಸಿಕ್ಕಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೋಗೇ ನೋಡಲೇಬೇಕಾಗ್ತದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಗಿವನ್ ಅದರ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಫಾರ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಆನ್ we say that there are around 20,000 of what we can say ants, right? And we also see that around 3 lakh species of beetles. Okay, 3 lakh species of beetles. Okay, and also around 28,000 of fishes, right? So these are some of the numbers that we know globally. And in India we say that around 20,000 species of orchids are recorded, right? So D is our right answer. Now Rauwolfia vomitoria, which grows in different Himalayan ranges, varies in potency, concentration of reserpine that it produces. Okay, it is an example for species diversity, ecological diversity, genetic variation and molecular diversity, right? So we can say that it is actually an example for genetic variation, or in other terms we can say it as an example for genetic diversity. Okay, genetic variation guna other example agate. Along with that, it is also an example for genetic diversity. C is an example. See, for example, in our own country, we can say that there are around 50,000 different strains of rice variety. Okay, and around 1,000 mango variety kuda nam deshdalli kandu barutte. Okay, around 1,000 different mango variety we see, and around 50,000 different rice strains we observe, right? So these are all actually examples for we can say genetic biodiversity or genetic diversity. right? So we are having other concepts. For example, species diversity. Now we'll nodidwala amphibian nodidwala. So amphibian is an example for what we can say. It is an example for species diversity. It's an example for species diversity, right? Yeah. So we are also having one more concept called as the ecological diversity, where we mainly discuss that India is having a different type of ecological diversity. For example, we are having what we can say desert kind of ecosystems, and rainforest kind of ecosystems, and mangrove forests, coral reefs, wetlands, right? When we compare our own diversity with the Scandinavian countries such as Sweden or Norway ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಹೌದಾ. ಸೊ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ಎಕಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿ. ನಾವು ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದು ಯಾವುದು ನಮಗೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಜೆನೆಟಿಕ್ ವೇರಿಯೇಷನ್ ಆರ್ ಜೆನೆಟಿಕ್ ಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ನಾವು ಲೆಟ್ಸ್ ಮೂವ್ ಆನ್ ಟು ದಿ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. The global estimation of a species according to Robert May is 5 million, 1.5 million, 7 million, D is 6 million, D is 7 million. The answer is no, I cannot go over here, I cannot mark it. The answer is the 7 million. Okay, 7 million is the right answer. Okay, Robert May ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ ಸೈಂಟಿಸ್ಟು. ಅವ್ರ ಪ್ರಕಾರ ಏನು ಹೇಳ್ತಾರಂದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಭೂಮಿ ಮೇಲೆ we can say that around maximum we may find what we can say around 7 million. Okay, but some people say that there may be around 20 to 50 million, 20 ರಿಂದ 50 million ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. That is not true. Maximum we may find around 7 million species ನಾವು ನೋಡಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಅವರು. Okay, so this is the estimation given by the Robert May. Remember this. Next question. The extreme estimates of species diversity are 15 to 20 million. Right now, this study is done by the statistical comparison of temperate to tropical rich fish species, temperate to tropical rich insect species, temperate to tropical rich amphibian species, temperate to tropical rich plant species ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಹೌದಾ. ಸೊ ದ ರೈಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಓವರ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಟೆಂಪರೇಟ್ ಟು ಟ್ರಾಪಿಕಲ್ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಅಂದರೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಭೂಮಿ ಮೇಲೆ 15 to 20 ಮಿಲಿಯನ್ ಎನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಇರ್ಬೋದು ಅಂತ ಯಾವ ರೇಂಜ್ ಮೇಲೆ, ಯಾವ ಬೇಸಿಸ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಅಪಾನ್ ಅ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾರಿಸನ್. ಓಕೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಸ್ಟ್ಯಾಟಿಸ್ಟಿಕಲ್ ಕಂಪ್ಯಾರಿಸನ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಬೇಸ್ಡ್ ಬೈ ಕಂಪೇರಿಂಗ್ ದ ಇನ್ಸೆಕ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಫೌಂಡ್ ಇನ್ ದ ಟೆಂಪರೇಟ್ ರೀಜನ್ and with the insect species that are mainly found in the tropical region. So they have compared both the insect species diversity from the temperate and tropical, and based on that they have given an estimation that maximum we may find around 15 to 20 million of species. Okay, but Robert May says that it is around 7 million, right? We know this 7 million anta Robert May ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Robert May, yes. Now among which of the following biologists don't have clue about dash species diversity? Fungi and insects, microbial, fishes. Okay, so now the problem is mainly with respect to the microbes. The answer is microbes. Okay, because when we consider the biochemistry, okay, biochemistry and also the molecular aspects. So when we consider all these, even ಎಲ್ಲ ನಾವು ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ the diversity of the microbes may reach up to millions. Okay, the diversity will reach up to what? Millions ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ ಹೌದಾ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ತನಕನೂ ವಿ ಡೋಂಟ್ ನೋ ದಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಯಲ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಮೈಕ್ರೋಬಿಯಲ್ ಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ದ ರೈಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಓವರ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್? ಸಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ, right? So but we know that around 70% of the diversity are mainly the animals. Okay, around animals, and 22% of them are mainly the plants. We know this. Okay, ಭೂಮಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಕಂಡು ಬರುವಂಥ 70% ಎಷ್ಟು ಆರ್ಗ್ಯಾನಿಸಮ್ಸ್ ಏನಿದಾವೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ mainly animals ಇದಾವೆ, and around 22% of them are actually plants. We know about this, right? But we don't have any kind of a clue about the microbial diversity. Right answer over here is this C. Now, the next question. Microbial species diversity will run up to millions if we study their habitat and behavior, biochemical and molecular aspects, structure, under electron microscopy, none of the above. So we have discussed this, right? It is mainly the B answer. If we study the biochemistry and the molecular aspects of these microbes, then what happens? The diversity will run up to millions of them. Okay, ಲಕ್ಷಾಂತರ ಹೋಗಬಹುದು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. So this we have discussed it earlier in the question. We have discussed it here only. Now, moving on. India has 45,000 of plant species, right? By applying Robert May's estimation to India, the species of plants are yet to be discovered, okay, are 1 lakh, 3 lakh, 90,000 and 2 lakh 50,000, right? So we know that according to Robert May, he has said that there may be around 7 million, right? And current estimates, we know that in our country there are 45,000 of plant species. ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಅರೌಂಡ್ 45,000 ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಬಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್, ಓಕೆ, ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ಮೇಕ್ ದಿಸ್ ನಂಬರ್ ಡಬಲ್, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ 90,000 ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟ್, ಎನಿಮಲ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ವಿ ಆರ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ವಾಟ್, ಎನಿಮಲ್ಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಯಾ. ಸೊ applying this value, applying Robert May's value, we know that actually the plant species may run up to around 1 lakh, okay, for plants, and we may say that around 3 lakh animal species may be discovered in our country alone. ಓಕೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು 3 ಲಕ್ಷದಷ್ಟು ಅನಿಮಲ್ನ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ 1 ಲಕ್ಷದಷ್ಟು ನಾವು ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ನ ಐಡೆಂಟಿಫೈ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು. ಯಾವಾಗ ನಾವು ರಾಬರ್ಟ್ ಮೇ ಅವ್ರ ನಂಬರ್ನ ಅಪ್ಲೈ ಮಾಡಿದಾಗ. ಸೊ ದ ರೈಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಓವರ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಸ್ ದಿ ಎ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ 1 lakh ಇಸ್ ದಿ ರೈಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್, ರೈಟ್? ಯಾ. ಸೊ next question. Yeah, sorry for this. Now, tropics harbor more species than the temperate, okay, or polar regions. Thus, as we move away from equator, the species diversity dash, and this pattern is known as a dash, okay? So, ಏನಾಗತ್ತಂದ್ರೆ, if you consider a globe, ನಾವು ನಮ್ಮ ಭೂಮಿನ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ, this is called as the equator. ಓಕೆ, ಇದನ್ನು ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ? ಇಕ್ವೇಟರ್ ಅಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಹೌದಾ? ಸೊ ಈಗ ನಾವು ಇಕ್ವೇಟರಿಂದ ಹೇಗೆ ಪೋಲ್ಸಿಗೆ ಹೋಗ್ತೀವಿ, ಓಕೆ, ದಿಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ದಿ ಪೋಲ್, North Pole or South Pole, whatever it is, okay? So as we move away from the equator towards the pole, what happens to the diversity? Okay, diversity ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, okay? And diversity ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಆಗುತ್ತೋ, whether it increases or whether it decreases. And this pattern of diversity, if it is increasing or decreasing, it is called as what? Okay, that is what they have asked, right? So we know that as we move away from the equator towards the pole, the diversity actually decreases. It actually what? Decrease. And this kind of pattern is called as the latitudinal, okay? It is called as the latitudinal gradient. It is called as the latitudinal gradient, right? So we are having actually some example over here. See, if you see that in the case of a country called as the Ecuador is actually having around 1,400 bird species. Okay, Colombia and Ecuador, right? In the case of Ecuador, 10 times the number of vascular plants. Okay, this is in the case of Colombia. This is in the case of what? Colombia, right? And if you consider Greenland, right, which is a more temperate based country nearer to the pole, around 56 bird species, right? And in our own country, that is India, it may reach up to 1,200, right? So ಈ ಥರ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ನಂಬರ್ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, okay? You remember all these numbers. They may ask you for your MCQ over here, right? See, for example, if you consider Amazon rainforest na ನೀವೇನಾದರೂ ಕನ್ಸಿಡರ್ ಮಾಡಿದರೆ, okay, now they say that the Amazon rainforest is mainly having around 40,000 what we can say plant species. Around 40,000 plant species ಇದೆ. Around 3,000 of fishes ಕಂಡು ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Around 3,000 of fishes are actually observed, and around 1,300 birds we actually observe in the case of Amazon rainforest, and 427 mammal species, and again similarly 427 of amphibians. Okay, we see these many number of organisms. right? And around 387 of reptiles, 387 reptiles and 1,25,000 of invertebrates, right? See the diversity in the case of Amazon rainforest. Right? So all these number you people have to remember, they may ask this, right? So based on the question over here, okay, the diversity actually decreases and it is called as the latitudinal gradients, right? So the option they have given here are the A increases and it is called as the latitudinal gradient, remains constant and it is called as species area curve. No, that is not the answer. And decreases and species area curve decreases and latitudinal gradient. So D is the right answer over here, right? Yeah. So the next question, we will erase this, right? Now, so D is the right answer. We'll just mark it once again over here, okay? And this one we are having, it is the 1 lakh. We will mark it. Now, identify the wrong statement. Tropics have been subjected to environmental variations for millions of years. There have been frequent glaciation episodes in the temperate regions. More solar energy is an input for higher productivity. Invertebrate species in Amazon are 1,25,000, right? So they have asked mainly the wrong statement ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, so ನಾವು ನೋಡಿದ್ವಿ ಆಗಲೇ in the case of Amazon there are 1,25,000 species, 1,25,000 of around 1,25,000 of invertebrates, and more the solar energy means more the productivity, higher the productivity. Even this statement is actually true. Okay, and glaciation episodes have been more observed in the case of temperate regions. It is also actually true statement, right? But they say that tropics have been subjected to environmental variations for millions of years. This is the wrong statement. Tropics have remained fairly unchanged. Okay, they have remained unchanged or they have remained constant for thousands of years, millions of years. Why they have remained unchanged? Because there was a constant radiation, there was a constant sunlight availability. As a result, they have remained unchanged, right? So we can say that A is the right answer over here. That is the wrong statement anta ನಾವು ಹೇಗೆ ನಾವು ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು, right? Yes. Next, on the logarithmic scale, the species area relationship curve is a rectangular hyperbolic curve, a straight line, and elliptical. Next one we are having is what? A sigmoid anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So we are actually having a curve called as the species area relationship curve ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Okay, so ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಈ ತರ ಒಂದು ರೆಕ್ಟ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಯುಲರ್ ಹೈಪರ್ಬೋಲಿಕ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ವಿ ಗೆಟ್ ಆಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ as what? ಹೈಪರ್ಬೋಲಿಕ್ ಕರ್ವ್ ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಹೌದಾ? ಆದರೆ we see that if you plot it on a log graph ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತದೆ. log graph ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ mainly ಏನು, x axis is also log and y axis is also log. This is x axis, this is what? Y axis, right? If you plot the curve on the log graph, you will get actually a straight line, right? So ಹಾಗಾಗಿ the B is right answer over here. Okay, so we get an equation called as the log S is equal to log C plus Z log A anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. Okay, this is the graph actually you get. Okay, where S is actually the species richness anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Okay, and Z mainly tells us about the slope of the line, that is regression coefficient, and Y is the, what we can say, intercept of the C is actually the Y intercept, and you can even say that A is the area ಅಂತ ನಾವು ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, right? So this is actually the species area relationship curve ನಿಮಗೆ equation ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಹೌದಾ? Yes. So on the logarithmic scale it is actually the straight line ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. The next question, the species area relationship for the large continents, the slope of the line, that is Z, tends to be less steeper, more curved, more steeper, wave-like pattern ಅಂತಾರೆ. The answer, it is more steeper ಅಂತಂತೀವಿ. Okay, and generally the value ranges from 1 to around 1.2 ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Okay, so ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ, if you look over here, if you take a graph, this is less steeper. This graph is what? Less steep ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ಲೆಸ್ ಸ್ಟೀಪ್ ಇದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥೇನು? ಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಇಸ್ ಲೆಸ್. ಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್? ಲೆಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಫ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಸ್ಟೀಪರ್, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಸ್ಟೀಪ್ ಕರ್ವ್, ಸ್ಟೀಪ್ ಲೈನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಟ್ ಮೀನ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಮೋರ್ ಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ if you consider large area, what happens? The line becomes more steeper. Okay, that is what the species area relationship curve tells us. Okay, as you go on exploring more and more bigger area, even the diversity increases. Okay, but however, this diversity increases only to some extent or to some part only. Later it becomes constant. Okay, so that is what they tell us in the species area relationship curve. The next question. David Tillman's experiment showed less year-to-year variation in total productivity, decomposition, energy input, biomass. Okay, so here we are actually having an experiment conducted by the David Tillman. Okay, and we study this experiment mainly in the importance of biodiversity. Okay, now what they say is that any ecosystem which is high in richness. What do you mean by high in richness? More biodiversity ಅಂದಂಗೆ ಅರ್ಥ. ಎಷ್ಟು ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ರಿಚ್ ಇರುತ್ತೆ ಎಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮು, ಯು ಸಿ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಮೋರ್ resistant to alien invasion. It is more resistant to what? Alien invasion. Also, it is more resistant to changes. Okay, variation ಆಗಂಗಿಲ್ಲ ಅಂತ ಎಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ದಲ್ಲಿ. Okay, and also there is less variation in biomass or productivity. That is what they tell, right? So ಇದನ್ನ ಈ observation experiment ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂಡ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Okay, they have done in an experiment also. And that experiment was conducted by David Tillman ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Okay, ಅವ್ರು ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, so according to David Tillman's experiment, he observed that there was a less year-to-year variation in total biomass. Okay, so ಹಾಗಾಗಿ D is our right answer over here. Now moving on to the next question. Which of the following is not true about a stable community? A stable community shows much variation in productivity, resistance to disturbances, resistance to alien species invasion, and more stable communities have generally species rich. Okay, so the answer over here, it is what? A only. We can clearly tell. I'll just now discuss the points. Okay, a stable community does not show much variation. It shouldn't show much variation, right? So hagagi A is our right answer over here. Okay, so automatically it is what we can say, it is more resistant to disturbances, and it is resistant to the alien species invasion, and also you see that generally stable communities are having a more species rich, right? Yeah, let us move on to the next question. The rivet popper hypothesis was proposed by E.O. Wilson, W.G. Rosen, Robert May, Paul Ehrlich. Okay, the answer over here is the Paul Ehrlich anta bartare. Okay, so now here we are having a hypothesis called as the rivet popper hypothesis anta bartade. This hypothesis mainly explains the importance of ecosystem. Okay, importance of ecosystem. It mainly tells the importance of ecosystem. Now, what does this hypothesis tells us is that, imagine that you are actually flying in a plane. One ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ನೀವು, ಒಂದು plane ನಲ್ಲಿ fly ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ, right? This is the plane ಅನ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. Okay, here we are having a window, right? And this is your wing. Okay, and here we are having our engines. And this is just a rough diagram. Okay, don't take it seriously. So now what happens is that when you're flying in the planes, you see that the bolt of seat, ನೀವು ಯಾವ ಸೀಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಕೂತಿರ್ತೀರಿ ಆ ಬೋಲ್ಟು ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, comes out. Okay, so what happens when you see the bolt of the seat coming out? You feel what we can say, ನೀವು ಹೆದರ್ತೀರಾ. Okay, you feel threatened that something is wrong, right? Yes, but however it is not a major issue, because bolt of a seat is not a big problem if something comes out. But however, if the bolt of the wings, plane wings, okay, or if it turbines or engines, right? ಅಂದರೆ ಇಂಜಿನ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರೋಂಥ ಬೋಲ್ಟು, ವಿಂಗ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿರುವಂಥ ಬೋಲ್ಟು, ಟರ್ಬೈನ್ ಒಳಗಡೆ ಇರೋಂಥ ಬೋಲ್ಟ್ ಏನಾದರೂ ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತು ಕಿತ್ಕೊಂಡು ಬರೋದು ನೀವು ನೋಡಿದ್ರಂತಂದರೆ obviously you will be scared. ಹೆದರ್ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತೀರ ನೀವು. Okay, and the journey also becomes more dangerous and life threatening, right? So similarly, initially the death of one or two species may not be a big problem to the whole ecosystem, but if this death of more important species starts to occur in the ecosystem, then the ecosystem will not sustain and the ecosystem will completely collapse one or the other day. That is the meaning of rivet popper hypothesis. So here rivet or bolt, okay, rivet to bolt ಎಲ್ಲ ಒಂದೇ ಮೀನಿಂಗ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ರಿವೆಟ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಏನಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್. Okay, that is what they tell in the rivet popper hypothesis, and this was mainly proposed and popularized by the scientist called as the Paul Ehrlich. The next one, speciation leads to the formation of a stable community, mega diversity, new species. That next is none of the above. The answer is new species. Okay, the way or the process of formation of new species is called as the speciation anta karitivi, and speciation is generally function of time ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಜನರಲಿ ವಾಟ್ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಂತ ಅಂತೀವಿ. ಅಂದರೆ ಮೋರ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್, ಇಫ್ ಮೋರ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಈಸ್ ಅವೈಲೇಬಲ್ ದೆನ್ ಮೋರ್ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಮೋರ್ ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಫಾರ್ಮ್ಡ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ರೈಟ್? ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಸ್ಪೀಸಿಯೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಜನರಲಿ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ರೆಫರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ರೈಟ್? ಎಸ್, ಸೊ ಸಿ ಈಸ್ ಅವರ್ ರೈಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಓವರ್ ಹಿಯರ್. ನೌ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ದಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟಿಂಕ್ಟ್ ಸ್ಟೆಲ್ಲಾರ್ sea cow belongs to Australia, India, Russia, America. The answer over here is what? The Russia. Okay, so stellar sea cow was actually a mammal which actually not died, we can say extinct is the more correct word over here, which actually went into extinction due to over exploitation. Okay, ನಾವೇನು ಮನುಷ್ಯರು ಏನು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಇದನ್ನು ಓವರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಅದರ ಮೀಟು ಅದರ ಪ್ರೊಡಕ್ಟಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ವೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟಿಂಕ್ಷನ್, ಹಂಟಿಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ರು. ಓಕೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸ್ಟೆಲ್ಲಾರ್ sea cow was mainly observed in the regions of Alaska and Russia. Okay, so the right answer over here is the Russia over here. Right, so loss of biodiversity, causes for biodiversity loss ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, it is called as the habitat loss and fragmentation, over exploitation, alien species invasion, co-extinction ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತದೆ. ಹೌದಾ? So all these four reasons they are also called as the evil correlate ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Okay, it is also called as the evil correlate, right? So remember the four important reasons for loss of biodiversity. The first is called as the habitat loss and fragmentation. Okay, the next one we are having is the exploitation. There are two examples for this: passenger pigeon, and one more we are having is the stellar sea cow, right? That belongs to over exploitation. Okay, and next is what? Alien species, unwanted, not native species introduction, alien species invasion, and the last one we are having is the co-extinction. Okay, yes, habitat loss and fragmentation. Yeah, remember all these. These are the important what we can say reasons for the loss of biodiversity, right? Yeah, so we will erase this over here. Yeah, which of the following flightless bird is extinct? Kiwi, ostrich, cassowary, and dodo. The answer is dodo. Dodo is the right answer. Dodo was mainly found in Mauritius. It was mainly found in the Mauritius. Mauritius is a country that comes near to Lakshadweep. ಲಕ್ಷದ್ವೀಪಿಗೆ ಹತ್ತಿರ ಬರುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ದೇಶ ಇದೆ ಅದು. ಓಕೆ, ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಓಷನಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ ಅದು. ಇಟ್ಸ್ ಅ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ ದಟ್ ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ದಿ ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ಓಷನ್, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಅಗೇನ್ ಇಟ್ ವಾಸ್ ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಹಂಟೆಡ್ ಡೌನ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ ಮೀಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ಮೀಟಿಗೋಸ್ಕರ ಅದನ್ನು ಹಂಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ವೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟಿಂಕ್ಷನ್. ಈಗ ಇಲ್ಲ ಡೋಡೋ. Okay, now cassowary is a bird that's observed in the coastal ಆಸ್ಟ್ರೇಲಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. Okay, ostrich is also found. We all know ostrich, and kiwi is mainly found in the New Zealand. We all know this, right? Yeah. Which of the following animal groups is more vulnerable to extinction? Mammals, fishes, amphibians, insects. The answer over here is the amphibians. Okay, amphibians are more vulnerable to extinctions anta helidare. Okay, for example, there is some data that they have actually given in your textbook. Okay, so they say that around 784 species, okay, of animals have actually, organisms have actually went into extinction in the last 500 years. ಕಳೆದ 500 ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ನಮಗೆ ಅರೌಂಡ್ 784 ಸ್ಪೀಶೀಸ್ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ನಶಿಸಿ ಹೋಗಿದ್ದಾವೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಇದನ್ನ ಅಕಸ್ಮಾತ್ ನೀವು ನಂಬರ್ನ ನೀವೇನಾರ ಎಲಾಬ್ರೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ನೋಡಿದರೆ ದೇ ಸೇ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ 338 species of vertebrates, and next they say that around 359 invertebrates, okay, and around 87 plants, around 87 plant species have went into extinction. Okay, they say that in the last 20 years around 27 species have went into extinct. That's what they say, right? Yeah, and they also say that around 15,500 species are facing extinction, facing threat of extinction anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, and they also say that around 12% of bird species and 23% of mammals. Okay, and also they say that 32% of amphibian species. Okay, and also they mention that around 31% of gymnosperms. Okay, so around 31% of gymnosperms, 12% of bird species, 23% of mammals, 32% of amphibians. They are facing the threat of what? Extinction anta ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. So remember this data, it is important for us. Okay, they may ask the questions on these also for 1 mark or 2 mark. Now next one, the extinction rates have sped up after the extinction of dinosaurs, several mass extinctions, appearance of humans, none of this. The answer is appearance of humans. Okay, so they say that ನಾವು ಮನುಷ್ಯರು ಯಾವಾಗ ಭೂಮಿ ಮೇಲೆ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಓಕೆ, ದೇ ಸೇ ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಫನಿ ರೀಸನ್, ಬಟ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಟ್ರೂ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ಓಕೆ, ಬಿಕಾಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಆಂಥ್ರೋಪೋಜೆನಿಕ್ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಮನುಷ್ಯರು ಬಂದಿದ್ದಕ್ಕಂತ ಅನ್ನೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಏನಂತಂದರೆ ಮನುಷ್ಯರಿಂದ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂಥ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿಯಿಂದ ಏನಾಗಿದೆ, ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟಿಂಕ್ಷನ್ ರೇಟು ಫಾಸ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟಿಂಕ್ಷನ್ ರೇಟ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಇನ್ಕ್ರೀಸ್ಡ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ 100 to 1000 times ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. 100 ಇದ್ದಿದ್ದು ಅದು 1000 ಪಟ್ಟು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಎಸ್, ಸೊ ವಿ ವಿಲ್ ಅರೆಸ್ಟ್ ದಿಸ್. In total there have been dash episodes of extinctions. Okay, 6, 4, 5, 3 and 5. The answer is 5. Okay, ಇಲ್ಲಿವರೆಗೂ ಆಗಿರೋದು 5 mass extinctions ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. The current ongoing is 6th mass extinction ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. Okay, so yeah, D is the right answer over here. Okay, the next question. Identify the right effect for loss of biodiversity. Increased plant population, increased resistance in ecosystem, increased variability in the ecosystem, increased alien species invasion. Yes, exactly, increased alien species invasion. Okay, introduction of species which are not native to that particular area. Okay, and these species adapt to that new area very well, and they start to take all the resources and compete with the native species. As a result, the native species go for extinction. ನಶಿಸಿ ಹೋಗ್ಬಿಡ್ತಾವು. Okay, yes. The next question. Tropical rainforests are well-known examples for over-exploitation, habitat loss, resource portioning, alien species invasion. They are mainly known for habitat loss. Amazon rainforest ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ ನೋಡಿ ನಿಮಗೆ. Okay, soybean cultivationಗೋಸ್ಕರ, okay, around 1000 acres ಅಥವಾ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ ನಮಗೆ, it will be destroyed mainly for cultivation of soy and wood and timber ಅಂತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ. Okay, yes. The next question. The current landmass coverage of the rainforest is 6%, 5%, 7%, 14%. Once upon a time, it was actually 14%, but now it is not more than 6%. Okay, yes, 6% is the right answer over here. The next one. Passenger pigeon extinction is due to habitat loss, alien species invasion, co-extinction, over-exploitation. The answer over here is the over-exploitation. Okay. ನಮಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ಓವರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಕೊಂಡಿದ್ದೀವಿ. ವೆನ್ ದಿ ನೀಡ್ ಟರ್ನ್ಸ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಗ್ರೀಡ್, ಓಕೆ, ರಿಕ್ವೈರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇದ್ದದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಹೆಚ್ಚಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡೋಕೆ ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಓವರ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲಾಯ್ಟೇಷನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. Now, the threat to the indigenous catfishes of Indian rivers is introduction of which catfish? Okay, ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದ ನ್ಯಾಚುರಲ್ ಆಗಿ ಕಂಡು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇರುವಂಥ ಕ್ಯಾಟ್ ಫಿಶಸ್ಸು ಇಂಡಿಯನ್ ರಿವರ್ಸ್ನಲ್ಲಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ಕ್ಯಾಟ್ ಫಿಶು ಏನಾಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ನಮಗೆ ಥ್ರೆಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಅಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಕ್ಲಾರಿಯಸ್ ಬೆಟ್ರಾಕಸ್, ಕ್ಲಾರಿಯಸ್ ಗ್ಯಾರಿಪೈನಸ್, ಕ್ಲಾರಿಯಸ್ ವಾರ್ನೆರಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಯಸ್ ಸಲೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ದ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಓವರ್ ವಿ ಆಲ್ ನೋ ಈಸ್ ದಿ ಕ್ಲಾರಿಯಸ್ ಗ್ಯಾರಿಪೈನಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಇದು ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ನಮಗೇನಾಗಿದೆ, ಇದು ಹೊರಗಡೆಯಿಂದ ತಂದು ನೇಟಿವ್ ಅಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲ, ಇದು ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಇಂಟ್ರೊಡ್ಯೂಸ್ಡ್ ಇಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಅವರ್ ರಿವರ್ ಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅವರ್ ಪರ್ಪಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸಿಮಿಲರ್ಲಿ ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಈವನ್ ಗಿವನ್ ದ ಲೇಕ್ ವಿಕ್ಟೋರಿಯಾ, ಓಕೆ, ದ ನೈಲ್ ಪರ್ಚ್ ಫಾರ್ ದ್ಯಾಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ನೈಲ್ ಪರ್ಚ್ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ದ ನೈಲ್ ಪರ್ಚ್ ಈಸ್ ಅ ಬಿಗ್ ಥ್ರೆಟ್ ಟು ದಿ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ನೇಟಿವ್ ಸಿಕ್ಲಿಡ್ ಫಿಶ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸಿಕ್ಲಿಡ್ ಫಿಶ್ಗೆ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಲೇಕ್ ವಿಕ್ಟೋರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುವಂಥ ಸಿಕ್ಲಿಡ್ ಫಿಶ್ಗೆ ನೈಲ್ ಪರ್ಚು ಏನಾಗಿದೆ ನಮಗೆ ಥ್ರೆಟ್ ಆಗಿ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಮೋರ್ ದ್ಯಾನ್ 200 ಸಿಕ್ಲಿಡ್ ಫಿಶ್, ನೇಟಿವ್ ಸಿಕ್ಲಿಡ್ ಫಿಶ್, ದೇ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ವೆಂಟ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟಿಂಕ್ಷನ್. ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ದಿಸ್ ಇಸ್ ಆನ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಎನ್ ಎಕ್ಸಾಂಪಲ್ ಫಾರ್ ದಿ ಏಲಿಯನ್ ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ ಇನ್ವೇಷನ್. ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿಸ್ ಆರ್ ವಾಟ್? ಏಲಿಯನ್ ಸ್ಪೀಷೀಸ್ invasion. Exactly. The next one. The direct benefits from the nature are important for humans, right? It is an argument that is associated with broadly utilitarian, ethical, narrowly utilitarian, and all of these. The answer over here is the narrowly utilitarian. Okay, ನಮಗೆ 3 ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ಯಾಕೆ ವಿ ಹ್ಯಾವ್ ಟು ಕನ್ಸರ್ವ್ ದಿ ನೇಚರ್, ಬಯೋಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿನ ಎದಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಕನ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕು. ವಿ ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ 3 ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್. ದ ಫಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ನ್ಯಾರೋಲಿ ಯುಟಿಲಿಟೇರಿಯನ್, ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ದ ಬ್ರಾಡ್ಲಿ ಯುಟಿಲಿಟೇರಿಯನ್, ದ ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಒನ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಇಸ್ ವಾಟ್? ಎಥಿಕಲ್ ಅಂತಲೂ ಬರ್ತದೆ ನಮಗೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಎಥಿಕಲ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂತ ಬರುತ್ತೆ. ಎಥಿಕಲ್ ಆರ್ಗ್ಯುಮೆಂಟ್ ಅಂದರೆ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅವರ್ ಡ್ಯೂಟಿ ಟು ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ದಿ ನೇಚರ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ದ ಪ್ಲಾನೆಟ್. ಓಕೆ, ನ್ಯಾರೋಲಿ ಯುಟಿಲಿಟೇರಿಯನ್ ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಹ್ಯಾವಿಂಗ್ ಅ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ನಮಗೇನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ನೇಚರಿಂದ ನಾವು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ತೊಗೋಬೋದು. ಓಕೆ, ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಎಕನಾಮಿಕಲಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ನಮಗೆ ನೇಚರಿಂದ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ದೇ ಸೇ ದಟ್ ಅರೌಂಡ್ 25% ಆಫ್ ದಿ ವಾಟ್ ವಿ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ಸೇ ಡ್ರಗ್ಸ್, okay, medical drugs are derived from the plants. Okay, and we also know that traditional medicine ನಲ್ಲಿ around 25,000 of ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ, ವಿ ಯೂಸ್ ಇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಟ್ರೆಡಿಷನಲ್ ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್. ಆಯುರ್ವೇದ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬರ್ತದಲ್ಲ ನಮಗೆ, ಅದು 25,000 ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಏನು ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ವೆರೈಟಿ ಇದೆ ಅದರಿಂದ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ನಮಗೆ ಹನಿ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಟಿಂಬರ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ವುಡ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇದೆ. ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಅನ್ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ ಆಫ್ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ಸ್ ಫಾರ್ ಅಸ್ ಟು ಪ್ರೊಟೆಕ್ಟ್ ದ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ biodiversity. Okay, so broadly utilitarian ಏನು ಹೇಳುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ it says that biodiversity plays an important role in what we can say ecosystem service. Okay, ecosystem service ಬೇಕಪ್ಪ, ಯಾಕಂದರೆ ಪಾಲಿನೇಷನ್ ಆಗಿರ್ಬೋದು. ಹೌದಾ, ಪಾಲಿನೇಷನ್ ಇಸ್ ಒನ್ ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಇಂಪಾರ್ಟೆಂಟ್ ಎಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್. ಓಕೆ, ನಾವು ಎಷ್ಟು ರೊಕ್ಕ ಕೊಟ್ಟರು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಅದು ಆಗೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಹನಿ ಬೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಡೂಯಿಂಗ್ ಇಟ್ ಫಾರ್ ಫ್ರೀ ಫಾರ್ ಅಸ್, ರೈಟ್? ಎಕೋಸಿಸ್ಟಮ್ ಸರ್ವಿಸ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಟೆಲ್ಸ್ ಅಬೌಟ್ ದಿ ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ಸ್ ದಟ್ ವಿ ಗೆಟ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ನೇಚರ್. ಓಕೆ, ಯಾ. So which of the following is right about the broadly utilitarian? It is the duty of the humans to protect the nature. Pollination is an ecosystem service and an indirect benefit to humans. 25% of the current sold drugs are derived from the plants. Species have intrinsic value. The answer is B. Pollination is an ecosystem service and indirect benefits ಟು ದಿ ಹ್ಯೂಮನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ವಿ. ಹೌದಾ, ದಿಸ್ ಈಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ದಿ ಬ್ರಾಡ್ಲಿ ಯುಟಿಲಿಟೇರಿಯನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಅಂದರೆ ನಾವು ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ ಕೂಡ ನೋಡಬೇಕು ಬಯೋಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಕಾಪಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದ್ರಿಂದ. ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ವಾಟ್ ದೇ ಸೇ ಇನ್ ದಿಸ್ ಪರ್ಟಿಕ್ಯುಲರ್ ಬ್ರಾಡ್ಲಿ ಯುಟಿಲಿಟೇರಿಯನ್. ಸಿ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ನಾಟ್ ಓನ್ಲಿ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಗೆಟಿಂಗ್ ಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಇಂಡೈರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಬೆನಿಫಿಟ್ಸ್, ವಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ಶುಡ್ ಥಿಂಕ್ ಆಫ್ ಅವರ್ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಜನರೇಷನ್. Okay, they also say in the same way. See, because for example, there are different type of animals. we have not seen a dodo bird. Okay, we have not seen Stellar's sea cow. We have not seen a Caspian tigers and all. Okay, they are all extinct. Okay, so but however, it is in our hand, it is in our control to protect all these diversity, so that our next generation can enjoy the beauty of the biodiversity. Right? So this is also an argument that comes under the broadly utilitarian. Right? Now, the next question. Cryopreservation of gametes is an ex situ conservation method, in situ conservation method, expensive method, effective storage method. The answer over here, it is the ex situ conservation method. Okay, ex situ antandrenu, in situ andre on site conservation. Adradu natural habitat ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇರುತ್ತದೆ, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕನ್ಸರ್ವ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ನಾವೇನಂತ ಕರಿತೀವಿ, ಆನ್ ಸೈಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಬಟ್ ಇಫ್ ವಿ ಆರ್ ಟೇಕಿಂಗ್ ಇನ್ ಟು ಝೋಲಾಜಿಕಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್, ಬೊಟಾನಿಕಲ್ ಗಾರ್ಡನ್ಸ್, ಓಕೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಸೀಡ್ ಬ್ಯಾಂಕ್, ಓಕೆ, ಕ್ರಯೋಪ್ರಿಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ಆಫ್ ಗ್ಯಾಮೆಟ್ಸ್, ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ದಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ ಸಿಟು ಕನ್ಸರ್ವೇಷನ್ ಮೆಥಡ್. Now next, bioprospecting is a method that involves exploring molecular, genetic and species level diversity of products for biodiversity importance, human importance, ecosystem services, and the last is economic importance. The answer is economic importance. This comes in a narrowly utilitarian argument. Okay, ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಬರ್ತದೆ ನಮಗೆ. Okay, so bioprospecting ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ we are actually trying to explore the molecular, genetic and species level of diversity in our own region or country in order to get some benefits, and these benefits are generally economic benefits, economic importance. Right? So D is our right answer. The next one. The Amazon rainforest produces a % of oxygen, 30%, 20%, 10%, 50%. It is a 20%. Hence, Amazon rainforest is also called as a lungs of earth. ಓಕೆ, ಯಾಕಂತಂದರೆ ಭೂಮಿ ಮೇಲಿರುವಂಥ ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಏನು ಬರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ 20% ಇಲ್ಲಿಂದ ಬರ್ತದೆ ನಮಗೆ, ಮೇನ್ಲಿ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಅಮೆಝಾನ್ ರೈನ್ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ನಿಂದ ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್ಸೋ ವಿ ನೋ ಅಮೆಝಾನ್ ರೈನ್ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಹ್ಯಾಸ್ ದಿ ಹೈಯೆಸ್ಟ್ ಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. ವಿ ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ಡ್ ಆಲ್ ದೋಸ್ ಪಾಯಿಂಟ್ಸ್ earlier. The next question. The total number of plants that contribute to the traditional medicine is 25,000, 30,000, 10,000, and last is 15,000. The answer we know, we discussed this, it is 25,000, right? Yes, 25,000 ಅಷ್ಟು ಟ್ರೆಡಿಷನಲ್ ಮೆಡಿಸಿನ್ನಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್ ಕಾಂಟ್ರಿಬ್ಯೂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ, ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ 25% ಆಫ್ ದಿ ಕಮರ್ಷಿಯಲ್ ಡ್ರಗ್ಸ್ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಬರ್ತಾ ಇದೆ ಮಾರ್ಕೆಟ್ನಲ್ಲಿ, ದೇ ಆರ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಡಿರೈವ್ಡ್ ಫ್ರಮ್ ದಿ ಪ್ಲಾಂಟ್ಸ್. The next, the new number of biodiversity hotspots that have been added are 10, 3, 8, 9. The answer is 9. Okay, the answer is what? 9 ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಓಕೆ, ಅಂದರೆ ಮೊದಲು ಎಷ್ಟಿತ್ತು, ಅರೌಂಡ್ 25 ಇತ್ತು, plus 9 new have been added, so the now actual number is around 34 new biodiversity hotspots. So what are biodiversity hotspots? They are the regions where high degree of endemism. Endemism ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ ಅರ್ಥೇನು? species rich, and these species are found nowhere except one area. ಓಕೆ, ಒಂದೇ ಏರಿಯಾದಲ್ಲಿ, ಒಂದು ಭೂಮಿಯ ಒಂದು ಭಾಗದಲ್ಲಿ ಅಷ್ಟೇ ಕಂಡು ಬರ್ತದೆ, ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಎಲ್ಲೂ ಕಂಡು ಬರೋದಿಲ್ಲ. ಓಕೆ, ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಎಂಡಮಿಸಮ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಇಫ್ ದೇ ಆರ್ ಫೌಂಡ್ ಎವ್ರಿವೇರ್ ಆನ್ ದ ಪ್ಲಾನೆಟ್, ದೆನ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಕಾಲ್ಡ್ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಕಾಸ್ಮೋಪೊಲಿಟನ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. ರೈಟ್? ದ್ಯಾಟ್ ಈಸ್ ದ ಡಿಫ್ರೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಟ್ವೀನ್ ಎಂಡಮಿಸಮ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಕಾಸ್ಮೋಪೊಲಿಟನ್. ಸೊ ದ ರೈಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಓವರ್ ಹಿಯರ್ ಇಸ್ 9. ಓಕೆ, ಎಸ್. Which of the following hotspots is not of India ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ? Himalaya, Polynesia, Sri Lanka and Western Ghats. The answer is Polynesia. Polynesia mainly comes near Australia. Near Australia, not actually Australia. Australia and New Guinea. Okay, New Guinea, New Papua ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತದಲ್ಲ, that is actually Polynesia, which is near to Australia, not Australia. Australia ಕೂಡ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಹಾಟ್ಸ್ಪಾಟೇ ಇದೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಹಾಂ, ಸೊ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ನಿಯರ್ ಟು ಆಸ್ಟ್ರೇಲಿಯಾ ಅಂತ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ. ಓಕೆ, ಹಿಮಾಲಯ ಬರುತ್ತೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಕಡೆ, ಶ್ರೀಲಂಕಾ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ವೆಸ್ಟರ್ನ್ ಘಾಟ್ಸ್ ಬರುತ್ತೆ, ಇಂಡೋ ಬರ್ಮಾ ಅಂತ ಬರ್ತದಲ್ಲ. ಎಸ್, ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ದೀಸ್ ಆರ್ ದಿ ಹಾಟ್ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ಸ್ ವಿಚ್ ಆರ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ಆಫ್ ಅವರ್ ಕಂಟ್ರಿ, ದಟ್ ಈಸ್ ಇಂಡಿಯಾ. ಓಕೆ, Polynesia mainly comes it's not of our country. Now, which of the following statement is not true ಅಂತ ಕೊಡ್ತಾರೆ? India has 14 biosphere reserves. India has 90 national parks, and India has 448, sorry, not national parks, 448 sanctuaries. Okay, it is having what? 448 sanctuaries, and biodiversity hotspots can reduce extinction by 20% anta kodtare. Okay, so if you consider over here, we are actually having 448 sanctuaries. The typing error agide. Extinction can be reduced by 30%. Okay, it is reduced by what? 30%. So if you consider 448 national parks, ಆವಾಗ ಏನಾಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು ಕೂಡ ರಾಂಗ್ ಆಗುತ್ತೆ, ಇದು ಕೂಡ ನಮಗೆ ರಾಂಗ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು, ಸಿ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಡಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು. ಸೊ ಟೈಪ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ನ್ಯಾಷನಲ್ ಪಾರ್ಕ್ಸ್ ಅಂತ ರಿಪೀಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, ಸಾರಿ ಫಾರ್ ದಟ್. ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ 448 ಸ್ಯಾಂಚುರೀಸ್, ಬರ್ಡ್ ಸ್ಯಾಂಚುರೀಸ್ ಆ್ಯಂಡ್ ಆಲ್. ಓಕೆ, ಸೊ ಆ್ಯಕ್ಚುಲಿ ದ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಶುಡ್ ಬಿ ವಾಟ್? ಡಿ ಅಂತ ನಾವು ಹೇಳಬೇಕು. ಯಾಕಂತಂದರೆ ಬಯೋಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿ ಹಾಟ್ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ ಏನು ಮಾಡುತ್ತೆ ಅಂತಂದರೆ, ಇಟ್ ಕ್ಯಾನ್ ರಿಡ್ಯೂಸ್ ದಿ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಟಿಂಕ್ಷನ್ ರೇಟ್ ಬೈ 30%. ಓಕೆ, yes, remember that. Yes, the last refuge of rare and threatened plants are in Meghalaya, okay, and Rajasthan. Next is we are having Himalayas, Western Ghats. The answer is what? Meghalaya. Okay, the last refuge anta ಹೇಳ್ತೀವಿ ನಾವು. Agdi rare plants, okay, which are mainly that is the Khasi Jantia hills. They are mainly found in these hills are mainly in the Meghalaya region. Okay, and they are the last refuge. Refuge ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ last remained home ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ಬೋದು ನಾವು. Okay, the last remained home for the threatened plants are actually the Meghalaya. Now, which of the following is a ex situ conservation? In situ ಅಂದ್ರೆ on site, ex situ ಅಂತಂದ್ರೆ off the site conservation. Of the site. Okay. Sacred groves. Next is biodiversity hotspots, zoological parks, national parks. The answer we are having is the zoological parks. Okay, zoological parks, botanical gardens, okay, seed bank, all of these are actually what? Ex situ conservation. C is the right answer. Next, the World Summit in Sustainable Development was held in Mumbai, India, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Next, we are having Washington, USA, Johannesburg, South Africa. The answer we all know, it is mainly the Johannesburg, South Africa, right? And in this particular conference, summit, around 190 countries pledged that they will actually do their best for commitment, do their best for protecting their biodiversity. And this was held in 2002, and the goal they wanted to reach was in 2010. ಇದು 2002ನೇ ಇಸ್ವಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಆಯಿತು. 2010ನೇ ಇಸ್ವಿ ಅಷ್ಟೊತ್ತಿಗೆ ಏನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋವಂಥ ನಮ್ಮ ರಿಸೋರ್ಸಸ್ನ, ಬಯೋಡೈವರ್ಸಿಟಿನ ನಾವೇನು ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಕಾಪಾಡ್ಕೊಳ್ತೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಒಂದು ಪ್ಲೆಡ್ಜ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ರು. ಓಕೆ, ಎಸ್, ಅರೌಂಡ್ 190 countries took role in this particular summit. Okay, and this was held in the Johannesburg, South Africa. Johannesburg, South Africa. The next question. Sarguja, Chandar, Bastar and Bastar are the sacred groves in the state of Maharashtra, Karnataka, Meghalaya and Madhya Pradesh. The answer we are having is Madhya Pradesh. All of these are actually found in the Madhya Pradesh. Remember, Madhya Pradesh is also the state with the highest forest. ನಮ್ಮ ದೇಶದಲ್ಲಿ highest ಕಾಡ್ ಇರೋಂಥ ಸ್ಟೇಟ್ ಯಾವುದು ಅಂತಂದರೆ ಮಧ್ಯಪ್ರದೇಶ್. ರಿಮೆಂಬರ್ ದಟ್ ಇಟ್ ಈಸ್ ರಿಚ್ ಇನ್ ಫಾರೆಸ್ಟ್ ಡೆನ್ಸಿಟಿ. ದ ನೆಕ್ಸ್ಟ್ ಕ್ವಶನ್. ದ ಹಾಟ್ ಸ್ಪಾಟ್ಸ್ ಪುಟ್ ಟುಗೆದರ್ ದೇ ಕವರ್ less than 2%, less than 3%, more than 2%, less than 1%. The answer is less than 2%. They make around less than 2%. Right? Yeah. So this is mainly about the biodiversity and conservation. Okay. And through the questions, we have tried to discuss all the major concepts of the particular chapter. Okay. So again, I suggest the same thing. Try to solve more and more questions. Okay, so that you can get a more complete idea about this. So this is mainly about your biodiversity and conservation, right? So thank you.